Hello student, Hemant Sir is here. So now we are going to understand the new chapter today. The chapter is ratio and proportion. So in previous video we have already understood about, in previous standard we have already understood about the ratios. So first we have to understand what is ratio. So what is ratio? The chapter name is ratio and proportion. The ratio and proportion. So first we have to understand what is the ratio. So what is ratio? The ratio is any number which are in the form of fraction, that is in the form of p by q. Like if you will say 1 by 2. 1 by 2 which represents as 1:2. So this is nothing but the ratio of two numbers. Okay. If we will say one of the student A has scored 20 out of 100. 20 out of 100. So it is nothing but the 20 divided by 100. It is 20 divided by 100. So this is nothing but the ratio. This is again nothing but the ratio, and which can be represented as in its simple form. So here this 0 and this 0 will get cancelled, and here it is 2 1 is 2 and 2 5s are 10. So it is 1 by 5. So 1 by 5 can be represented as 1:5. 1:5. Okay. So these are nothing but the ratios between two numbers. So the ratio can be between two numbers, or between three numbers, or between four numbers. Like if we will say the calcium carbonate, it is CaCO3. Here the calcium percent, the oxygen is also present here and oxygen is also present. So on the basis of the number of atom, we will say the number of atom of calcium is 1, number of atom of carbon is 1, and number of atom of oxygen is 3. So the ratio of atom in calcium carbonate is 1:1:3. Okay. So it is ratio of calcium to carbon to oxygen is 1:1:3. So this is nothing but the ratio between three numbers. Okay. So in this way we are representing the ratios. Okay. Now we have to understand what is proportion. So what is proportion? So the proportion is nothing but the amount of substance or amount of atom or any matter present in a given amount of the matter is called as proportion. Okay. So the proportion in same case we are going to calculate. Okay. So in calcium carbonate, the proportion of calcium is, see, number of atom is 1. We have to add all this atom first. So which is equals to 1 plus 1 2, 2 plus 3 is 5. 2 plus 3 is 5. So the proportion of number of atom of calcium in calcium carbonate is 1:5. 1 divided by 5 is nothing but proportion of calcium in CaCO3 in calcium carbonate. Okay. Now for carbon, again carbon is nothing but 1/5 is the proportion of carbon in calcium carbonate. For oxygen, the number of atom of oxygen is 3. So it is 3:5 is the proportion of oxygen in calcium carbonate. So we can convert this again in the form of percentage also. Okay. So percentage proportion will be the percentage proportion. Percent proportion for calcium. For calcium it is 1/5 into 100. Okay. So if you multiply, if we will solve this, we will get 20%. Okay. For carbon is again 1/5 into 100. It is again 20%. Now for oxygen. So for oxygen is present in 3 by 5 proportion. So 3 by 5 into 100. So if we will solve 100 divided by 5 is nothing but 20, and 20 into 3 is 60. So 60%. Okay. So now if we will say the proportion of calcium is 20% in calcium carbonate by atom, and the proportion of it is carbon. It is proportion of carbon in given compound is again 20% by atom, and the proportion of oxygen in given compound is 60%. Okay. So this is nothing but the proportion of the elements present in a given compound. Okay. So this is nothing but the proportion. Okay. So for your understanding, write down this part first, then we will move further. Okay. So write down now. Now we will understand the types of proportion. Okay. So proportion. Proportion are of two types. Number one is direct proportion. And number two is inverse proportion. Okay. So what is direct proportion? If the amount of certain value increases, then the another value is also increases by the same ratio is called as direct proportion. If you will take example, if you will study more, you will get more marks in exam. So if the concept is if you will study more, so one is increases, then you will get good marks, more marks in exam. Then another is also increases. Okay, so here the two factors, whether the first increases, then another also increases. If the first decreases, then another one will also decreases by the same ratio. This is called as direct proportion. अगर एक वैल्यू का मैग्नीट्यूड बढ़ रहा है, then magnitude of another value is also increases. Okay, let example, if you will go to the market to buy vegetables, so if you will spend more money, you will get more vegetables. Okay, so क्या हो रहा है, जितना ज्यादा आप खर्च करोगे उतना ज्यादा आपको सामान मिलेगा. That is nothing but the direct proportion. Okay, if you will less spend in the market, you will get the less vegetable from the market. Okay, so एक बढ़ रहा है so दूसरा बढ़ेगा, या एक कम हो रहा है तो दूसरे का मैग्नीट्यूड कम होगा या डिक्रीज होगा. That relation is called as direct proportion. Okay, so like if you take example of electricity, if you will use more electricity, then the bill will come more. आपका जो बिल में अमाउंट आएगा कैसा आएगा, ज्यादा आएगा. If you will use less electricity at home, then you will have to pay less to the electricity board. अगर आप एक को बढ़ा रहे हो तो दूसरा भी बढ़ेगा, या अगर एक को कम कर रहे हो then दूसरा भी कम होगा. That relation between two is called as direct proportion. Okay, now here inverse proportion is what? So यहाँ पर अपोजिट होगा डायरेक्ट का. यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है कि दोनों चीजें बढ़ रही है या दोनों चीजें डिक्रीज हो रही है. But in inverse proportion, if one will increase, then another will decrease, or another will increase, then first one will be decreased. That relation is called as direct proportion. Okay, and the change takes place which is in the definite manner, because we are talking about the proportion. Okay, now so I hope आपको direct proportion and inverse proportion समझ में आ गया होगा. Let's take one more example for inverse proportion. Okay, if you will play more, then अगर आप ज्यादा खेलोगे then you will get less mark in your exam. See, एक चीज बढ़ रही है तो दूसरी क्या हो रही है, कम हो रही है, और या फिर दूसरी जब कम होगी तो पहली वाली क्या होगी, बढ़ेगी. That relation is called as inverse proportion. Okay, so students, first we have understood about the proportion and their types. Okay. Now we will understand this with the help of one more example. Okay. So now we will understand about the ratio. Okay. So as we have understood, the ratio is the algebraic expression in the form of A by B. Is called as ratio, or it can also be written as A:B. Okay. So here we have the both name for A and B. Okay. So A is called as predecessor and B is called as. So student, the ratio is any number in the form of A by B is called as ratio, and it is represented as A:B. And here the first term, it is the first term, is called as predecessor. And the second number is called as successor, and which is our second term. Okay. So this is the way we have to represent the ratio in the form of predecessor is followed by successor, or we can represent it as A by B or A:B. Okay. So this is the way we have to represent the ratio and proportion. Okay. So students, here we are completing our first session of the new chapter called ratio and proportion. Okay. So by next video we will solve one or two problems, then we will solve the practice set. Okay. So students, आज के लिए इतना ही, मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में.